Good evening. Here's one of the ones that's one of my physical science students' favorites. It teaches a little bit of Newtonian physics, basically your first three rules of Newton's laws, You'll need for this some materials, and so we'll start out with the materials. You'll need a little bit of super glue gel. I recommend gel. It has a little better adhesion and filling of spaces. You will need some coffee stirrers, and I recommend doing 2 or 3 setups at once, just because the materials, it takes time to get the materials together, and you may want to do this for the whole family or for a party or for a group of people or for a scout thing or for a group science project. And you can have competitions. If you're doing homeschooling, you can do private competitions where you see who figures out the best dynamics for their rockets. Okay, so these are coffee stirrers, about the, what is that, that's the 5-inch length or so. Is that 6-inch? Anyhow, the super glue gel, any variety of high bounce balls. These are glow in the dark. I haven't done these yet, but they're high bounce balls. They'll work. 99-cent store packs that have 5 rainbows if you want rainbow colors, or if you want pastel mixes, that will work. The one that I'm going to do for a demonstration here is pastel mixes. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. They sell quite readily but they're high bounce balls. Here's one that I've got right here. You'll need a drill, preferably a portable drill, but it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. You can use a cord for your drill. I found that according to the typical coffee stirrer, the best side bit is not a 1/8, but rather a 5/32. So this is a 5/32. I have tried doing a 1/8. It's just a little bit too small. It gets it too hard to get the stirring sticks into the balls once you've got the hole drilled. Okay, so we've got our stirring sticks, we got our drill. Okay, I take the drill. Oh, you will need several cut pieces of straw. In order to increase the experimenting, I have 2 different kinds of straws that I've cut pieces from, with slightly varying, if you look at it, slightly varying diameters. The ones with stripes are a little bit narrower diameter than the ones that are solid pastel colors. Okay, and you will want a roll. You could probably use any tape, but I like using electrician's tape just because it's got more mass. It's a thicker, it's got this diameter that's just about right for what we do, but it's got a thickness, a mass that will add for the purposes of projecting your rockets. So you're going to be making rockets that shoot off of a high bounce ball, off of their stirring sticks. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, and again I recommend that you do several balls at once so that you just get into your routine. You take the ball, hold it carefully, be careful not to screw it into your, oh, I should be wearing protective lenses. Oh yes, I could get some rubber dust in my eye. So here goes. I love Harbor Freight, don't you? They have coupons so that these totally luscious and totally cool protective lenses are only at 99 cents. Of course, if you're wearing glasses, you probably got some pretty good protective lenses there. Now, I have properly guarded this. This is something that adults only should do. Don't have children doing this. You have to try and work as perpendicular as possible into the ball, and then drill into the ball about 1/3 of the way in. Okay, then you take your super glue gel and you squirt it in the hole. Take out a pretty good hole full. Okay. Put the cap back on there real careful so that you can use it for others. Again, this is another reason why you might want to do several in a row, because sometimes it gets really hard to reuse these gel tubes. Okay, so you stick the skewer in, and you just leave it to dry. Okay, so you got the materials. We had the high bounce balls. We have the 5 30-seconds drill bit and drill. We have the super glue. We have the electrician's tape. And we have several, and it doesn't hurt to have varying lengths. You notice all of these straw pieces. Let me get them here. These straw pieces are not all the same length and all the same diameter. Okay? All right. Pause this at your will. If you need to get supplies, you need to get steps done, do the steps, and then come back and continue. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is, once you have your high bounce base ball taken care of, it's drying, then you can take electrician's tape and take off any length you wish. And the other nice thing about electrician's tape is you can tear it off. Most people are strong enough they can tear off a section, and it isn't really critical. If you have scissors, it looks neater and it's tidier to do scissors, but I pull off a length 3-4 inches long. Okay, use always the right tool. Never compromise. Always use the right tool. And then you start it around one of the straws, and you fold it up so that it makes a fin. And then you fold it up, and about a third of the way you fold it up again so that it makes a second fin. And then you fold it up another third of the way, and it makes another fin. And now I've made a rocket out of that straw with 3 fins. Let's see if you can see it against my shirt a little bit better, against a white background. See, it's got the 3 fins, and you just did that by folding a little of the tape. And then if you want to test that one, the first thing you do is you slide it down on one of the balls. I'm going to use one that's had more time to dry. We'll have this already had more time to dry. And so I'm going to slide that on there. And then you raise it. And the way we test it is we raise it off of the ground and we drop it on a hard surface. Now that one didn't shoot too high. Didn't even come off. Well, I wish it would go higher. That calls for another experiment. So maybe I need more weight on the other end. So I tear off another piece. Again, always use the right tools. And I wrap it around the head to give it a little bit more mass on the other end. Newton's laws. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And force equals mass times acceleration. So we've got the acceleration of gravity, 32 feet per second squared. I've changed the mass a little bit of the rocket by adding a little extra tape. Okay, and I guess, I don't know if you saw it, but the rocket actually came off this time and shot up off of that. And so I can continue to make modifications at my pleasure and leisure. I can see whether it would work better with just the end of a thin one. See, I was using the thin one. What happens if I just use the end of a thin? Let's see. Let's see what I get. Oh, it barely came off. No significant thing. Okay. There we go. No significant thing. So there may be a need. What if I flip it over and just used weight instead of fins on the bottom? Okay, here we go. That didn't even come off. Okay, so learning the rules, experimentally testing your rules and seeing what makes for a better rocket ship. Let me try a fatter diameter tube. And let me try it using fins like we started with in the first place. There's a fin. There's a fin. You see, with the electrician's tape, you can quite readily make fins. Do I want to make 3 fins or do I want to make 4 fins? I don't know. I can experiment with that as well. 4 fins might be more material, might be more mass, might have an effect. I don't know. Wider diameter. Again, with just the fins, I didn't get it off of the stick, the center stick. Let me try putting mass on the end. Wrapping it around, mass on the end. Wider diameter, fins and mass on the end. Okay, so the wider didn't go as far as the thinner. So thinner might be better. Anyhow, you find out what you want to find out. Experiment and see which works best for you. More mass on the one end or the other, more length on the rockets. Use the hypotheses, force equals mass times acceleration, and for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Just a fun little experiment for you to be able to do at home with the rest of the family. Parents and children alike love to have you compete. Let's all have fun with this, please. Love y'all. Dave.